Hello again. Still here with the Zephyr, making some headway. I went down to the workshop and I picked up a whole bunch of stuff. So continuing on the pre-assembly, I guess you'd call it, I got a couple real cool treats and one possible solution to the headlight. We're still developing how all this stuff is going to fit together. So I say pre-assembly because I got boxes of parts trying to make it happen. There's one critical thing right here we're about to find out for real that I didn't consider. Here we go. Is everybody here? Flat? Lil, I see your ear. Are you with us? Are you still with us? Shadow? Hello. You ready? You're always ready. You know what I wasn't even thinking of? Somebody said, when you put that rim on, is it gonna hit the shock? Probably. Let's take a look. I'm glad I didn't do the other side. But hey, I'm the guy that owns his mistakes, right? It's like, first car I built, so we're bound to make some mistakes. First time for everything. It's a big rim. What do we got? I think it's a 17 or 16? 17-inch rim. It's an inch bigger than the stock. But the offset, these are Crown Vic rims, and they're way in. Could bring them out a little bit with a spacer. You know, for a ½ inch off, we could put a ½ inch spacer. We still got plenty of stud going in. Nope, don't hit. About where the caliper would come into contact. So what happens? Okay, oh no, this is full drop. So this would, this has to go up. So this is worst case scenario, and it's clearing. And I could probably, I could probably bring that shock in just a touch, or I could space this rim out just a touch. And these are so set in the fender, that might be okay. Look at that. That's way in. But let me see. I don't know if I can lift this up just by hand. All right, so that's shock all the way compressed. Oh, look at that. No problem at all. But right here. So, just to get away with it, probably just make that the rule. Have this tire come right to the fender. So we could bring that out a ½ inch with one of those things you put on the rim. Whew. All right, got away with that. Headlights. All right, so I waited. Store got the sealed 7-inch headlights in. I like these. People were saying get a flat halogen. I don't want to do that. These are adequate for what we're doing. And it turns out, it fits. I don't know if Zephyr's had seal beams. I'm not sure. But look at that. So Sylvania goes that way. So just to test the clearance, it's nice that this is a solid mount because I can definitely put a little bit of a rubber gasket in here, maybe even silicone it in place, right? How many times are you going to change your headlight? You can get in there with a razor blade and just cut it out, but this is what I'm thinking. For now, I'm just going to put some electrical tape on this to hold it, and I want to see what the clearance is with the tire because that's a big deal because the car is so low. When I was looking at those other headlight buckets, the back of it was cut off, and I vaguely remember me cutting the back off so that those headlight pieces wouldn't hit the tire. So I don't know, maybe this is too big. I might have to find some kind of slimline thing after all without so much backspace. Even though I don't want the look of the halogen or of the LED, I think that this glass would hide that pretty well. This is just so I could plug that into the fender and just take a look. Yes, that gives a little more depth also. Let's stick it in the fender and see. All this stuff is preliminary. Wait till you see the treats in the truck. Coming quick. Right after this. So that goes in there. Like that. Wow, actually with a bulb in it, it gives a little more like substance, a little more depth in there, so it doesn't seem like it's just falling in. I'm the guy that doesn't bring a screwdriver from the shop. So I've got this ratchet with a screwdriver tip. All right, let's see what happens now. Not trying to waste everybody's afternoon. So yeah, this is still just floating in there low. You know, it's like, that's how it wants to be. I don't know, maybe that cork gasket, see, it's just floating in there. I don't get why that is. Seems like it needs something else. Let me look at this. That's gonna be close. It's time for the glasses cam. Can we see this? I hope so. There's our headlight bulb. Here's our tire. I try to lift this up with my knees again. No, it clears, look. It just clears. Well, that's two things we just got away with. So a little tire spacer, you know, those little aluminum discs that go on there. A little bit. Yeah, cool. And I like the, gives that glass a little life, you know. Dark and light. Cool. Now for the treats. All right. Now, I don't really know what to expect here. I was in such, you know, thrill mode when the people gave me all these parts. I just basically took the money and ran, right? In other words, no questions, right? I just took off with the stuff and box cutter. Looks like a windshield to me. And it's in good shape. Heck yes. Give me something to wipe this off. Now, does the glass go in from the inside? Yes, it does. I know there's going to be some kind of felt channel that goes with this, but let's set this up. And then this came in the stuff too. So let's just see if this actually fits the car. No, that's it. That's the one. Heck yeah. Couple screws. Now I'm getting excited. Wait till you see the other parts. Wouldn't that be so cool? We just luck out. Get all the glass in place, or the windshield in place, and it falls right back out because the screws are bad. Yeah, so see, that's low. This definitely gets some kind of a gasket. Yeah, let me lay these on the table again. This car's starting to rock and roll a little bit. I got it up on the jack in the rear, and I'd hate for it to come off them jack stands. So looking at this is the face that touches the glass. Yeah, that glass is definitely got some kind of a border on it. So what do we do for the short term without any resources? Piece of a rubber hose slit would be great just to bump that up. Now, I did say we were just placeholding and test fitting. So let's just do that. Maybe this glass is just a bit too small. It's definitely not original. This is a nice piece of laminated glass. Man, I hate to put a screw in here and have this whole thing fall away. You never know what you're getting into. All of a sudden, there's probably some big kind of C-channel thing that you use like on the door windows and stuff. It's always something, you know. I walked into the shop thinking, man, I'm just gonna pop that glass in today. We're gonna have to find some seals. All right, cool. At least you got two. All right, so what I'm seeing here is I can just lift this up, kind of the medium point, and it's gonna put a couple of cardboard risers just sitting in there for the moment. Yeah, see, that keeps the glass where it should. Still looks a wee bit small to me, but I'm not sure how big that rubber surround for the glass may be. Again, first time or with this type of project. So yeah, cool. So now that it's got these little things on it, it sits up on that metal backer. This is definitely debatable, and it probably won't happen till the end of this segment when we drop it on the ground. But look at this. Had this visor from the Cadillac project. You know, I might like it for this. I don't know. Any thoughts on that? This is for a car with the split screen windshield, but it looks pretty freaking cool on this. The Zephyr is so sloped back. I feel like this might just give it that little bit. No, it's definitely not exactly where it should be. No, I think it's for a different car. Yeah, no, that visor is for a Chevy or the Cadillac, where it has the V-butt glass windshield. Visor might be an option in the long run, though. It's just not this one. Anybody want to trade? Got a Zephyr visor? See that V? That's the problem. All right, back to the treasure hunt. 2 rear windows. These are taped together, but I think they came from the same place that front windshield came from, because they are modern laminated glass, and there's a pair split windows. Sweet. And I have the bezel in the back of the truck too, that metal frame that holds them. Not gonna put these in yet, because I got that seat back there and I don't want to climb around. Got a taillight with a license plate mount. Got another taillight housing. It doesn't look like it's from this car. And I have this lens that's missing the chrome ring. Anybody got a chrome ring for a 37 Zephyr taillight? That'd be much appreciated. Let's talk. All right, and the rest is found the windshield wipers. Found the, I guess that's the hood ornament. We knew that was there. And then all the interior door handles and stuff too. Some more chrome hood trim. Yeah. Yeah, and that completes all the interior. I don't know what that is. Maybe from a different car? 'Cause we have all the interior handles. Oh no. No, these are interior door handles, definitely. And window crank handles. And there's no door glass in here. Oh no, there is door glass in some of it. So these are broken. So yeah, we're gonna have to get 6 windows, 3 per side. Well, anyway, to get this down on the ground, I want to put that front airbag together and then drop it, and we'll put these pieces on the back. I took the airbag out on the driver's side because we were having a bunch of trouble with hardware and whatnot. So yeah, I took this out, got this set, but I got some fittings. Hopefully I got the right ones. I got these 90s, and then I got this. Yeah, no, it looks good. Okay. Man, that's gonna be a real hassle to put in. I had the air going in like that, but now this raises it up. Never a dull moment. How do I solve this puzzle? Gonna have to turn on that compressor and get some air, because I have an air tool to open up these holes a little bit, and I'll put some silicone on this and set it up. As I originally just used parts I had laying around, of course. So now we have a 3/8 inlet line. And you can see we're gonna have to bring this hole up. There's nothing worse than having your airlines leaking when you're trying to cruise and you're constantly fiddling with the switches. So looking at this, you're gonna have to make this piece right at that height. Let's just say from there to there. Let me get that air tool set up. All right, just being honest here, these airbags are being a huge pain in the butt. I'm gonna have to get some different hardware. The hole is so close to the edge that I'm gonna have to get like an Allen key bolt and yeah, a few other things to make this happen. So you want to see a guy get frustrated, throw tools? It's not gonna happen on this channel. I'm gonna put the tires on, drop this, and let's set up the back lights. Welcome to reality, day 2. Problem with the airbags, getting it sorted out as we speak. I was hasty when I first set them up and the bolts were trapped by the ring. So I'll explain that and we'll carry on. All right, so what you're seeing here is the plate that goes on the airbag and then the holes, right? So I bolted this to the airbag and hastily welded it in place, but it was so close to this that you couldn't unscrew that, and you couldn't get a ratchet around those bolts. So today I cut it off, centering it up, and I took the long drive of shame to get Allen key bolts, so there'll be a little more clearance. Feeling me on that? This side was close, but I got it off. The other side was trapped, so anywho, right? Now you just put an Allen key in there and take your airbag off. Yeah, so anyway, I had to smash that fitting. I had thread locked it. Big event. All right, never easy, never easy. If it was easy, everybody be doing it. So now I have this cut off. I have it centered. I'm going to weld this back in place. So all the happy little hardware acts as it should. Happy hardware. Let's see if we can't blow a fuse today. We got air compressor, a refrigerator. We got air compressor, the camper, and the refrigerator plugged in. If one thing turns on while we're welding, it could all go poof. Let's see. Nothing happened there. All right, so I was explaining yesterday that we were going to have to possibly open these up to get the fittings in place. I think that's still the case. Yeah, I have to open that up considerably. So I got an air tool. Let's make it happen. I mentioned it in the last video. I mentioned it again. imuffs.com. That's where you can get them. It's finally in action. All right. As they say, perseverance furthers. Got this ground out. Took a while. Air compressor's pretty small, so I was having trouble keeping up with the air tool. I'm sure it's a story we all are familiar with. I'm gonna put this different hardware in here, as if I have the correct Allen key. I brought all of them. And then I thought I was going to use that extension. That's what I was doing yesterday, but it turns out it was not necessary. It turns out these new brass fittings go right out, just as they should. Now I'll have plenty of room for the tool to do its work without hitting the edge of that wall. Welded it more. The fitting is now coming through this hole. It's got plenty of clearance, and that's cool for the 3/8 hose. You know the story. We all watched the Gilligan's Island show, the 3-hour tour. That's what it was supposed to be yesterday. A nice quick wrap up of installing these airbag fittings, because we were going to the Taillights, if you remember. But I checked the clearance on that rim and tire with the shock, and I explained that it was going to work, and it's going to work. But overnight, all I could think of was, how much are you going to regret this if you go to steer the car when it's all done and it rubs on that shock, and then you made the other side to match, right? So we haven't built the other side yet. So while all this was going on, you probably saw in the time lapse, I went in and cut the top shock eye off. We're gonna move it in about 1 inch. Pretty simple modification. Was there a lot of regret in doing that? There sure was. It's like I'm doing everything over now. Doing it over under there with the shock as well. But moving forward, 2 airbags properly set up for the larger hose. And Jamie's here, so before we do that, I'm going to help her unpack. I think when I was putting these in, may have just kind of set it up, because seeing a few loose ends, just going to go in here and take care of that on both sides. Yeah, now that I'm thinking back when I put these air suspension together, just to test it, I tacked these plates in place. Now I'll just give them a good weld. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, the bags were smaller than what I typically use, so I think that's why I wanted to test it with the weight. And the bags worked, so that's probably why I just slapped it together. If you know even a little bit about air suspension, there's a lot of different size bags. And I chose some that were a little smaller than I might use otherwise, because they fit really well in these control arms. Sometimes you'll have to do a lot of clearancing. All right, cool. So, still not gonna put this shock mount on because I wanna put air in the suspension and cycle it a bunch of times to ensure that that one works, and then I'll match it. So let's put these bags in. Back to the other side. All right, we got 2 angles rolling on this. And installing these is pretty simple. There's 1 bolt at the bottom. Goes through under here. See, I got a grade 8 longer bolt for the shock. So I may try to get a bolt that goes all the way through. That would be very strong. Somebody was disagreeing, as usual, with how this shock is mounted off the back side of the A-arm, control arm, and I'm going to disagree with you. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Chevy trucks have been doing that for a while, and a lot of lowriders, hot rods, etc. He was claiming that, of course, it's best if it's right up through the center, but it's not going to work on this project. You know what I always say, your car, build it your way. I'm building this one my way. Now, in a perfect world, I will just cross-thread this and bugger it up really well. Because you know if it can go wrong, it probably will. All right, now I had offset these, I'd offset these tops a bit. I'm having a little confusion as to which way they go. Pretty sure I set it up. How was it? Like that? These to come out the front? Yes, I believe so. And the way I slit this, it is a very tight fit onto that. So tighten up first. So I want the air fitting to come out and up. Am I right here? Yeah, that's right. Because the suspension is so far dropped, it's got a real angle on this bottom one. Cool. Now, I think I actually put a big old screwdriver in that thing and opened it up. Yeah, cool. Yeah, day and a half to get here. It's supposed to take a half hour. Let's get to the Airlines. It's supposed to take a half hour. That's purely speculation. You actually never know how long this stuff's gonna take. But anyway, I ordered this DOT approved airline. And for now, because I have no solenoids, no way to control the airflow, what I do a lot of times is just hook it up to the air, hook it up to the bag with a T, and then I just fold it over and clamp it to keep the air in. So hopefully we can do that. This stuff is pretty rigid, but I'm guessing, let's see. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna split this whole spool right in half, because that way, I was gonna come off each bag with a little stub, but I think I'm going to leave this whole coil in place. That way when I do put the solenoids in, I won't have to put new air hose. Bring these to wherever it goes. What do you think? Probably right about there is the center. And they have all these fancy cutters for this stuff, but I just find a razor blade and you kind of rock on it like that. It goes right through. And then I'm not gonna use a T in the final result, because if you use a T, as the car corners, say you're turning this way, so the car's gonna lean out of the turn, and the bags don't work for that. What happens is, as this bag compresses as it's tilting, it pushes the air into that bag, which makes it lean even worse. It's like a perfect storm. So you need one solenoid per bag to lock it to keep the air pressure tight side to side. Otherwise, it's just like, it's like being on a boat. So this is temporary, just to get the car to lift. So we can look at those taillights, remember? Way back then? Yeah. Let's just compare these two, because I'm going to need a little something to put the air hose to. Just run these down. See which one's a little bit longer. I doubt I got them perfect. And I didn't get them perfect, see? Now we have one sprout coming out the end. We have two even pieces and one center. And don't cut your thumb if you're doing this. It's only off by a couple feet. Hey, educated guess. So, see where I'm going? That goes in the center. One of these out to each bag. So that just plugs in there. Like that. When you pull it, as if it had air pressure, that's what locks it. So, since these vents are out, I'm just gonna put it together here for now. Right outside the car. Interesting. You'll notice we don't talk about money a lot, about budget on these things, but it's a bit of an exotic car, and I found a supplier. I'll have to look at the name of it. I believe they're out in Ohio. They have all the things, but it's expensive. The windshield gasket for the car is $250 for the rubber seal or whatever it's made of. The back windows are $70. I'm excited to find out from them what the headlight details consist of, but it's crazy. Excited to see how this works. Definitely wasn't expecting that. All right, so that's what I was saying. See, I just pinched it off and stuck it inside that ratchet for the moment. I'm gonna put on the glasses and see what the angle of those bags look like. It's a pretty good lift all in all, height-wise. All right, so this is the first time we've had it lifted with the actual Airlines in place. Looking under here without putting my head under there. Yeah, the angle of the bag is a little bit weird, but this is fully up. And that's just what we're going to deal with. When it's at ride height, which is about halfway down, the angle will decrease. So, cool. Now we can get to what we were talking about yesterday. All right, so I'm going to lift the back up. We're going to work on these tail lights. The back Airlines leak also, but I got to get another fitting to change it. Let's try to lift this up so we can get some bolts. Try out these tail lights. Alright, well I think in the long run, I'm going to probably just weld this shut. Probably just do that here. I'm not going to use that for the fuel tank. Not trying to make it a stock repair, you know. It looks like, let's put that light on and see what happens. These housings both have a little cant to them. Yeah, no, that's definitely for that. The entire car is fine threaded bolts, except for these taillights, which are 5/16. They're 5/16 regular bolts. Let's try to put on the deck lid. See what else doesn't work. Actually, you know what? I have not sprayed the inside of the deck lid yet. So I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to take care of the running board. And then I'm going to get some hardware for that. So how's that for an episode, right?